Hey girl, welcome to my page. You're probably here because you're wondering how to get your ex-boyfriend back. I've been there, trust me. I know how miserable you feel, and I am truly sorry for you. However, there is one person who can't be sorry for you right now, and that's you. A breakup is a very emotional and painful thing to go through. Probably all you want to do just now is to curl up on the couch, eat ice cream, and feel sorry for yourself. And honestly, who wouldn't? But if you came here to find out how to get your ex-boyfriend back, it is extremely important that you decide on a solid plan right now. Because you are tempted to make a bad move by instinct and blow your chances in the process. You will be tempted, no doubt about it, and the ice cream will be the least of your problems. In life, usually it is good to do what your instincts tell you to do. Your gut feeling is right most of the time, and if you follow it, you will be all right. However, this does not apply to breakup situations. This is the one time where your instincts are totally wrong. Believe me, if you want to get your guy back, you will have to act completely different from what your heart tells you to do. So stop what you're doing for a moment. Try to control your emotions and take a few minutes out of your time to read what I have to say. My article is quite long because I have a lot of important information to share with you, but if you're willing to invest 5 minutes to read this, those 5 minutes will have a huge impact on your chances to get your ex-boyfriend back. So, bear with me for a bit. 3 ground rules for winning your boyfriend back. I've defined 3 ground rules that any girl should follow if she wants to get her ex-boyfriend back. Of course, every breakup situation is different. You may feel like your situation is so different that the common rules don't apply to you. However, if you have decided that you want your ex-boyfriend back, I strongly advise you to keep these ground rules in mind no matter what your situation is. This is what I've learned from talking with hundreds of girls in breakup situations, and I'm not exaggerating. Feel free to look at the comments below my article. Okay, here we go. The first rule is the simplest and the most difficult at the same time. Ground rule 1, be strong. However heartbroken you feel, trust me, your ex-boyfriend is not going to want you back if you show him that you are miserable and or needy. You probably have the urge to let him know just how terrible you feel and how much you miss him so that he will um, feel what? Pity? A guy doesn't fall for a girl out of pity. Ever. You'd be amazed, though, how many women try to use this tactic to get an ex-boyfriend back. Please don't be one of them. To get your ex-boyfriend back, you'll have to be confident and strong. Girls, I cannot stress this enough. A little psychology to help you be strong. So by now, you may be thinking, okay, Essie, easy for you to say, but I feel just terrible. How can I act confident when I feel as rotten as I do? Well, of course, acting confident can be difficult right now because after a breakup, your self-esteem may hit a low point. Try this psychological exercise for a minute. It's really helpful. Imagine how it will be when you are back together with your boyfriend. Not like in a memory, but in the future. That part is very important. Experience how it feels to be back together after you've been apart all this time. Really feel his arms around you again. Feel his love and how tightly he holds you. Hear the sweet things that he whispers in your ear. How happy he is that he and you are back together again. Try to make this imagination as real as possible. Now, realize yourself and make a mental note right now that many couples get together after a breakup every single day. This is not just a fantasy. You can achieve this goal if you put your mind to it. People get back together after the most horrible breakups. Even lots of people that shouldn't be together still get a second or third chance. Why? It's just a matter of biology and psychology. Biology. It's the chemistry between the two of you. If it felt right, it probably was right as far as Mother Nature is concerned. The two of you share a strong connection, so it is probable that you can make good babies together. And your and his body picks up on that. Psychology. This one is a little more complicated, and this is where you can put your magic to work. Psychology is actually pretty simple if you know what you're doing. The only problem is, people act in the wrong way to get their results and mess up their chances in the process. However, if you know what you're doing, you can play your ex's feelings like an instrument. He is still tied to you biologically. You have been together, right? So this shows that he and you are a biological match. The problem you are facing right now is psychological, which means that you can overcome it with the right strategy. I'm convinced in most cases, if you want it hard enough, you can get your ex-boyfriend back. You just have to be strong and smart about it. Okay, I hope that by now you know that you do have a good chance to get your ex-boyfriend back. You only need the right information on what you should do and should not do. So, let's continue. Ground rule 2. Limit contact. One area where you need to be very strict with yourself is contact. Whatever you do, don't harass your ex. This will definitely drive him away from you. Instinctively, you want to call him because you want things to get back to how they were between you two. And to get back together, you first need to make contact, right? Wrong. Please. In your heart, you already know this. Don't call him. After a guy breaks up with you, he will regard your repeated phone calls as stalking or harassing way sooner than you think. And even more important, since you are giving him confirmation that you still think about him, he will not feel any pain of missing you. This is definitely not helping to get him back. So whatever you do, don't call him. Unless you have your plan to win him back all laid out. More about that later. If you are having difficulty fighting the urge to call him, then try to keep your focus on your goal, getting your boyfriend back in your arms. Try the psychological exercise that we did before. Like with most things in life, if you keep the end result in mind, it will just be so much easier. Ground rule 3. Finding other things to focus on. This may not seem like much of a get my boyfriend back tactic, but believe me, it is actually a very powerful method. Let me explain. If you can find a new hobby or activity to dedicate some of your attention to, you will have less time to miss your ex-boyfriend. Apart from that, you will regain the feeling that you are in control of your life and experiencing new and interesting things. Those two factors lead to something very valuable to your goal. You will have more self-confidence, and that definitely shows. And your ex-boyfriend will notice that you have moved on with your life, or at least that you are not suffering full-time because he's gone. This works like a red rag on a bull for most guys. Well, so far, the basics. I hope you've learned that acting on instinct is a very dangerous thing to do when you try to win your boyfriend back. I broke all the rules! If you have come back to this point and think, oh no, I broke all the rules and then some, don't despair. It's human, like I said. It's the natural urge after a breakup to do exactly the wrong things. This doesn't mean the situation is hopeless. Far from it. You may need a bit more help to fix things, but you still have a big chance to turn this situation around. It's up to you now if you want to continue flying blind or take matters into your own hands and follow a structured plan to get your ex-boyfriend back. You can, if you are committed. So, let's continue with one of my favorite real-life examples of how to get your ex-boyfriend back. Of course, this method won't be useful to everyone, but if you feel that it might suit your situation, I recommend you give it a try. Example 1. Donna and David. Me and my friend Donna came up with this when her boyfriend of 3 years suddenly broke up with her because he felt that he needed space and he wasn't sure what he was feeling for her anymore. Donna was devastated. She loved David with all her heart and didn't want to lose him. Luckily, Donna was a psychology student, so she knew a thing or two about psychology. So, instead of following her urges to call him up, she did this. 1. Instead of pleading and begging for him, she just let him go. For the moment. 2. She tried the best she could to not let him see how much the breakup hurt her. 3. And then she took salsa lessons. This may seem like a strange strategy, and of course, Donna had to push herself to do it, but it worked out brilliant. It was a big boost for her self esteem. A lot of guys at the dancing class were giving her attention. It gave her something to focus on, apart from David. It gave her a great sense of adventure, of doing something new with her life. And most of all, David heard about the salsa lessons. Yes, we made sure he did. And he was extremely jealous about it. It's important to know that guys are very visual minded. When David heard about the dancing lessons, he immediately visualized Donna with those other men dancing close together and probably starting to feel something for one of them. Before she knew it, David was leaving messages on her cell saying that he made a mistake. And they had to talk. Of course, Donna made him work for it for a bit before she took him back. This happened over 2 years ago, and Donna and David are still together to this day. So, there you see. If you play your cards right, make a solid plan, and follow through, then you will have a good chance of getting your ex-boyfriend back. Well, these were my ground rules for a real-life example that you can use when trying to get your ex-boyfriend back. I hope you found this article helpful. If you're still a little uncertain how to proceed from here, what's the best way to get your ex back, then I would really advise you get one of the professional Get Your Ex-Boyfriend Back systems that are available online. Think about it. How would it be if someone told you exactly what to say and do? Someone who has helped thousands of girls like you turn their breakup around. Wouldn't that be exactly what you need right now? There are a lot of systems available online, and I've read almost every one of them. Some of them are really brilliant. I can't give their content away in this article because it's copyrighted material, and I don't own the copyright, unfortunately, but I talk about the best available Get 'em Back methods on my site. Click in the link on the gray blocks below. What to do next? I hope you found this guide useful. I'd love to go into more detail here, but I've got to stick to my word limit. So, because this guide has gotten quite popular, I think there's over 1,000 comments now, and because of all the great questions I get asked every day, I decided to set up a page on my website with some more advice and recommendations exclusively for girls who have read to the end of this article. Think of it as the part 2 version of this guide. So, I'd love you to join me over there. Just click on the link in the box just below this video. Stay strong. I'm rooting for you. Essie.